Okay, so remember we're subtracting with fractions, so we need the least common denominator. So look at that first fraction. Can you factor that out any? Yes. All right. Now, somebody had asked me, how do you know when you're going to actually factor using the formulas versus factor using your factor tree? If it's got a plus or minus sign in it, you're going to have to use one of the formula things. You're going to have to use common factoring, difference of squares, sum or difference of cubes, your trinomial stuff, or the grouping for the 4 terms, okay? So if it's got a plus or minus in it, you're going to have to do it that way. If there's no plus or minus, then we do our little factor tree where we find what multiplies to give us this number. All right, so this one's got a plus or minus. So look at it. Does it have a greatest common factor? X squared and 9. No. How many terms? 2. It's the difference of squares or cubes? Squares. So remember your formula. It's up there on the board. This is the problem. A squared minus B squared. That is your X squared minus 9. You're going to give me the A plus B times the A minus B. So that means you need to find the square root. So what's the square root of X squared?
X.
And the square root of 9. So when we plug that in, that's my A and that's my B now. So it's going to be A plus B times A minus B. Now, can you do anything else to either one of those parentheses? No. Neither one have a greatest common factor in it. If you looked at the X plus 3, no greatest common factor, 2 terms, sum, but it's not a sum of cubes.
So is that our new denominator?
Well, not yet. Yes, it's the new denominator for that fraction.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I was just going to rewrite this fraction, it would be X over X plus 3, X minus 3. Okay? Now look at your second fraction. It's just an X plus 3. Can you do anything with that?
No.
No greatest common factor. 2 terms. It's a plus sign, so it's a sum, but it's not a sum of cubes, is it?
No.
So it's factored all the way. So my second fraction is already done, so I'm just going to put minus 7 over X plus 3. Now let's go find that least common denominator. If I want to get rid of this first fraction, what do I need to multiply by?
X plus 3, X minus 3.
Good, X plus 3, X minus 3. Now, if I want to get rid of the second fraction, what would I multiply it by?
X plus 3.
Now check, do I already have an X plus 3 written in my least common denominator?
Yes.
Yes, so I do not have to write it again. So that right there, the X plus 3, X minus 3, is my least common denominator. And remember, that's also what we're going to multiply by to simplify this. So my first fraction, I have an X plus 3 and an X minus 3 I need to get rid of.
Yep.
So what's left on the outside?
X.
Well, there's nothing on the outside, so just put your X down from the inside. Minus.
7.
Okay, on the second fraction, I need to get rid of that X plus 3, so I cancel it out. What's left on the outside?
X minus.
X minus 3 times the 7 inside. Are y'all okay if I go ahead and put the 7 first?
Yes.
Because we know the single term needs to go first anyways.
Can you send Andrea area?
Okay, so what are we going to do now?
Distribute.
All right. All right, so we're going to bring the X over because we can't do anything with it. And then you said distribute the negative 7. So it's negative 7 times X. And what's negative 7 times negative 3?
Positive 21.
All over that common denominator. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to combine our like terms. So we got X minus 7X, which is,
Negative 6X.
everybody okay?
Yes.
Plus 21 over your common denominator.
Is that it?
I don't know. Is that it? Can I do anything else to the numerator? The numerator, I can divide it by 3, and I really don't like that negative in the front, do I? So why don't we divide by negative 3? Because that way maybe something will cancel. So the negative 6x divided by the negative 3 is
2x.
positive 2x. And positive 21 divided by negative 3 is
Positive 7. Wait, what did you do? Wait.
negative 7. 1 second. All over your common denominator. Okay, so look at this now, guys. Can I do anything else to the top? The numerator?
No.
No. Hopefully we can't do anything to the denominator because that was already in factored form. Can I do anything to it together, the top and the bottom? Anything cancel?
No.
No, so this must be my answer.